Okay. I'd like to call the meeting of the regular policy committee to order. Today is December 5th. It's 3:01 p.m. and we are at the Vets Hall. We have all of our committee members here, and so there is a quorum. Hey, so I'm going to do a chair report. This is a difficult meeting, probably for not only me, but for other people. I did want to give these certificates to you.
You mean the policy committees in general or this specific one?
This one. Claudia, these are certificates of appreciation.
Oh, that's very sweet.
For a job well done. Yeah, and I don't know how to thank you enough. You guys really have had wonderful discussions and have asked all the right questions. And so I just truly do appreciate all of you being here and being part of the policy committee. The certificates are signed by me and also the general manager. Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and wait until the agenda item for the ad hoc subcommittee for the lighting policy. We'll get to that momentarily. But are there any other ad hoc subcommittee reports? I don't think there are any.
Do we have any?
Okay. Who do we have online?
Just Crosby Sports.
Oh, Crosby is here. Hey,
Hello, Crosby. Nice to
Crosby.
hook up with you. Only that, not the hookup. And then we also have other people from the public. So I would like you to introduce yourself and let everyone know where you're from.
Christine Heinrichs from Cambria.
I'm Perry Farmer, 36-year resident of Cambria, and still a current member of the board of directors of the CCSD.
David Pearson, Cambria Fire Safe Public School.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Okay, any committee member communications?
One comment,
Okay,
as this started 5 years ago,
Mhm.
I'd like to just give an update on the sexual harassment and the whistleblowing status for what's been going on for a year now.
Mhm.
So, I have a
You mean the
question.
policies?
Yes,
Okay. So do you want to talk about the personnel policies and where we are with that?
Yeah, the personnel rules are going through the meet and confer process with both unions, both IFF and SEIU. Our legal team, Lieber, Cassidy and Whitmore, helped us design those. They've been vetted, and now they're going through the meet and confer process. We finished with SEIU, so there's pretty much no other concerns they had with it. Now we're working with the IFF. Within that document has all the legal whistleblowing, sexual harassment laws and applicable policies included. So there's really no need for the policy committee to design that. That's pretty much well codified in law and it will be within the policy itself. But the personnel rules themselves.
And do you know when that will be coming before the board?
Fire union's been a little slow to get their opinion back on that, but we're hoping January,
Hoping. Great.
That's not too
Okay. So is that a sufficient answer?
well, it beats his needs.
Okay. All right, let's go then to public comment. Do we have anyone here who would like to make public comment on something that is not on the agenda? Who's the other person? Jeff was, oh, hi, Jeff. Do they have any comments? Public comment? No, no, no one here? Public comment? Let's go on to the consent agenda. This is the consideration to approve the October 24th, 2024 regular meeting minutes. And you've had those for review and I'm open to hearing anything that needs to be edited or added or deleted from these minutes. Thank you, Mr. Howe, for doing these gorgeous.
Can I move that we approve the minutes?
Yes, has everybody had a chance to take a look at it? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Nope. All right. So now let's go to our regular business. Regular business 4A is report from the ad hoc committee members Harmon, Worthen, and Key on discuss, review, and consideration of the draft policies to address the street lights and lights at other facilities under CCSD's jurisdiction. Would you like to do a report, or do you want me to give kind of a background? Okay. So, this committee suggested and asked for direction from the board to go ahead and create a outdoor lighting policy for CCSD, and the board did give us that direction. We then appointed an ad hoc committee, and that ad hoc committee consisted of our two members, Claudia and Ted, yes. So I did have some conversations with Claudia, and so you want to go ahead and do a presentation?
Well, I did a lot of research. Well, I've been doing research for a long time about these things,
Yes.
and then we already wrote a lighting ordinance that we've been trying to get the county to approve. So I've been doing this work for a while.
And she did forward 4 pages of notes.
Yeah, so they're not in very good order, but they're there, you know. So those are the things that I felt were most important for the CCSD, because you know, you're different than just, a code or an ordinance. Probably the largest contributor to sky glow is our street lights. So the CCSD has a huge impact on how much light, goes into our night sky and our ability to be able to see the stars, and we have a lot of wildlife here. As you all know, we're pretty rural, and so it's so important to really protect them. And half of what they do at night, and sometimes I think we forget about that. So I took snippets from all different places. So Dark Sky International has a lot of good information, and so I took some things from that, and I went to other approved lighting ordinances and pulled information from those. But it kind of boiled down to most of the information that I have is pretty much general for a lot of the things that are out there. I mean, they talk about what things are, like glare and sky glow and light trespass. By the way, I just a little side note here. I was talking to Cynthia something or other, who's she's the head code enforcer, and we use the word light trespass, and she just kind of had a fit about it. Oh no, that's legal. We get involved in legal things. Well, it's like so many things, like email. What's an email? That's a new term that, well, I'm old, so there's a lot of new terms for me. But, we have a lot of words that we use now that used to be used for other things. And so, and light trespass is one of them. And our lighting code, our current lighting code says that you're not to have light go beyond your property line, which is, it's the same thing. Actually, it's kind of even more restrictive, because this means trespassing to somebody else's property, which means that it might have to actually shine further, like across the street or something, so, but anyway, that's kind of up in the air. But I'm just telling you that I use the word like trespass because that is a common terminology for not having light, go across, and to on other people's property, to influence, wildlife and people's sleep and things like that. If you did you send this out?
No.
Okay, then Then I'm just
Well-
saying that you need to look at it
Yeah.
so you can kind of see it, and you probably don't want me to take time to do this, but let me give you the kind of the categories of what it is, so you can.
Okay,
get an
before
idea.
you do that.
Sure.
I took the liberty of taking what you gave me and I put it in a policy form.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I didn't want to ask you to do that, but I kind of thought you might. I just tell you,
Yeah.
but.
Well, I didn't have any information to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you got it
think-
kind of late. so-
Well,
Wish you
yeah.
got it late too.
Yeah, like yesterday.
We did-
Do you guys
I
want
like this.
one
paper.
of these?
Nice.
Yeah.
No? Oh, sure. Yeah, I think I gave you one, right? Okay, can I have that one? Take a look at. Yeah, I made, I think 7 copies. Okay. So anyway, I took what you wrote and I put it in a format of a policy. And I really did put almost everything that was in your notes
Great.
in
Yeah.
here. And I may have got some of it wrong, so that's why it's here for everybody to read.
Okay. One of the things I should say is that most of the beginning of this is just kind of what lighting is and why we should protect the sky and all that kind of stuff. And the benefits and economic benefits, things like that. That at the very bottom, it talks about 2400 Kelvin and 2200 Kelvin, and should explain to you what that is. So we have streetlights that were put in the east end of town back in 1992 or something like that, 92. And they are those lantern style streetlights, and those are owned by the CSD. So I have in my records, I have a copy if anybody wants it, you know, I suppose I can give it to you. It's a PowerPoint. Not a PowerPoint, but a Excel spreadsheet. You like Excel spreadsheets. But it is all of the lights and who owns the lights and what kind of fixtures are in them. And Carlos sent it to me, so I know that.
You must have it.
I know he has it.
Probably not on hard drive.
Oh.
Kept everything on a flash drive
Oh.
or his personal computer.
So why don't you go ahead and send it to me?
So I'll dig it out and send it to you. So it's a good piece of information because, and it doesn't actually have all of the streetlights. There's actually a few little here and there that are kind of unclaimed. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. So what, David Aguirre said to me in a conversation, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, was that, can you help me with what lamps to use? Lamps is a light bulb.
Yeah.
Okay, what lamps to use as I replace the CSD fixtures, you know, and the luminaries. And he said 2200, and like 2200 is close to what is in there now, because right now they're a high pressure sodium, that's kind of a yellowish light. And for wildlife and for people being able to see where they're going, that kind of thing, having that nice amber light is really terrific, and it's more suitable for Cambria. So that's why they're 2200. But however, I did put in 2400 Kelvin for some other things. So in other words, if there already has a high pressure sodium in there, it should be replaced with the same. One was replaced near the church or something like the Catholic Church, and they put in a bright blue white light and asked Carlos about it. He says, well, I didn't tell him, I didn't ask him, I just told him to change the light. And so that's why the policy is really important, because they need to know what Kelvin to use and what lumens to use, so that it's consistent with other things and lights that we need to light. So,
Yeah, and I did this morning or I would have sent it out.
well, you know, I can't believe you did this. I mean, you're like amazing. So, but I was busy with a party yesterday, so.
Of course you were.
Yeah, and 10 other things, but, I think these numbers are really vital to the atmosphere that we want in Cambria. And there's a lot of documents, including the one that I sent to Ted.
Yeah, I'll speak to that.
Yeah, that is, I told him it's antiquated, but there's some good things in it, and it's actually from New York. And it's antiquated, but, so, you know, if we use another document, which You know, I've been using, we have to use the updated numbers, and the numbers are really important. And we actually even should have things like how many fixtures you can have on a building, like this building is really poorly lighted. I mean, this side over here isn't too bad. It has amber lights and they're not that bright and they're not obnoxious. But the backside, I don't know who did that, but it's really dangerous.
Probably the Legion.
I actually, I didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that
So,
is really
and you know, they don't ask anyone, they just put lights up and, you know, and just, they think if they blast a wall pack straight onto the highway, then that's good, but it's actually really dangerous. Some of what this says, I don't know if you put that in there, is that dark sky lighting means you light the ground, and
I did.
it actually is much safer than just blasting light out of
Yeah.
people's eyes. So that is really something important that we need to adhere to in a policy. And I will tell you a quick little thing that had to do with how much lighting we need, because people often, because we're in the lighting, you know, like the business, they come to me and they say, we need a light here, we need a light there, we need more streetlights down here. And last night, Shani, after when we were leaving,
Yeah.
said, I think we need, how do we get streetlights on Burton? And I said, well, one, it's really, really, really difficult to get a streetlight. You know, I mean, it has to be like several accidents, you know, or something. No, there has to be a good reason to just put them in, because they're expensive. And then somebody has to maintain them and stuff. So what I pointed out to her, and if you want to do this yourself, it's a very interesting experience. And that is, I said, look at the sidewalk. Because, you know, all the stores have lights on the inside of them, right? I mean, there's
Quite
ambient
bright.
light
That whole
everywhere,
section
you
of
know, and
land
then
is pretty bright.
of course, and the lodge is blasting light into the sky. So anyway, but she really looked and she goes, I said, you know, you really only need a light where you're walking.
Yeah.
You don't need to light the street because cars have headlights.
Yeah.
Okay, and she looked and she looked and she thought and we talked some more and she says, I see what you're talking about. We don't need a street light.
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and so if you look at it, you know, when you really analyze it, you have enough light, you know, on the ground, and that's what you need. You need to have wayfinding. So those are some things. But I'm glad you included
Yeah.
that, and so
Yeah.
thank you for doing that.
You're
That's
so
amazing.
welcome.
Yes.
I don't think, there was some of it I left out, but very little. I kind of do want to put your little diagram too.
Oh, yeah, that diagram's
So,
important.
yeah, I'll put it on here.
And I actually sent you something that had other pictures on it.
Yes.
I'd like to put in there's one that shows like before and after streetlights.
Oh,
I think that's a good one, a visual of
Yeah.
what that means, lighting down.
yeah.
And then I didn't put it in here, but I don't think I did, but most of the lights that are, even the Cobra heads that there aren't even ours, they're PG&Es, they have shielding available. Almost
Oh.
all manufacturers make shielding. So, you know, nothing has to be changed out, but if somebody complains, they can shield it, they can block it out, because that should be part of the policy, that if somebody comes along and says, hey, you're shining this light in my bedroom window or whatever,
Yeah,
that the CCSD would, you know, accommodate that and I don't know, and just.
yeah, I don't know that
honor
we could do that.
Well, you can ask.
No, I mean, you mean like neighbors and stuff?
Yeah, because if you like trespasses into the neighbors, you're not beyond that law. The law is there. The law says you
Yeah,
can't
but I
trespass.
don't, that's not our law, right?
No, it's a county law.
Be county.
Oh, so we
The
can
county.
call the county.
You can call the county, say, we want to violate the code.
Oh, no,
No,
Yeah.
it is, you know, the thing is that most of their lights, I don't think are, you know, near houses. Some of them are. but,
Yeah.
I mean, you have like lights near your tanks and.
yeah,
and
well,
overpass and things like that.
no, I thought you meant one neighbor to another neighbor.
Oh, no,
Of
no,
course,
no, I'm
okay.
talking only about
Yeah,
CCSD.
yeah,
But some CCSD lights do trespass
Yeah.
onto private property.
yeah.
You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, that, I think we addressed it
Yeah.
in here too.
yeah, so I think that's
I
important.
can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where's the, let's see. Can I chime in?
Yeah.
That instance, that actually did occur with Catherine Ryan High, because she takes astronomical pictures,
Oh.
and one of our streetlights was, and I think Director Farmer negotiated with her and arranged to get that low.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so lights that we do have
Yes,
control of, we
yes.
can do something about.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's at the PG&E light, and they will cooperate with you. They will put shielding up. They will change the
Okay.
bulb out. They did both.
Yeah.
But they do charge.
Oh.
I think she paid $350
Oh,
to
wow.
have the shielding put up.
Oh,
So, but and they will take the lights, they will turn the lights off. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, if you have enough people complain, we'll just turn the lights off. And I told a couple of friends that live there, and they said, that would be really great, but we don't want to pull, just in our yard.
Right.
So then they'd have to pay to take it down, which would be
Yeah.
expensive, but if I lived there, I'd say, yeah, turn the light off, I mean, it shines in people's bedroom windows
Yeah.
and it's not healthy. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for doing this.
Welcome.
I didn't mean for you to do it the last minute like that, but
It's how my head works. Like, okay, how can we condense this?
you just did it.
Yeah. So how about anybody else?
Well, the only thing I have to add is that I received this municipal guidelines for lighting that was prepared for East Hampton, New York. And I read through it and it got a lot of good information. And I think you've probably covered,
Oh, good.
a very great deal of it. So if you want to, confirm those things, it's not a terribly long document.
Yes.
But there was some really, it was well done. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they really covered a lot of stuff. Now, as far as updating, how updated is this? I mean, this was done in 2008. So, in terms of the actual physical equipment and of course, their charts are going to be different than what is acceptable for us countywide and so on, or but, this was, well done.
Oh, good.
And if you want to, and all I can say is if you want to kind of just use this as a reference point to see if you've covered all those things in here.
Yeah.
That's,
Look forward.
yeah, I mean, it was really comprehensive and very good.
That actually came as something was recommended through International Dark Sky
I
International.
can believe it.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of where it came from.
But
They've
that's-
been around for
that's-
30 years. so-
That's really all I have to contribute to this
Okay.
particular conversation.
How about anybody else? Yes.
I have a comment in that, in Morro Bay, there was lighting in a parking lot. That they unfortunately or whatever built the church, which was a situation, then they had people living above the church. And then when the lights go on at night for events, the light would transfer upward. As you mentioned, instead of just downward.
Mhm.
I think I wrote that in something, I don't know if it was one I sent you, but that's one of the things because we're hilly.
Yeah.
It's like if you have a light that is up above, even though it's shining down, it might be shining down into somebody's
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
So that probably should be added in here to look for that kind of thing. Agree with
But
you.
If you
comments were,
want my copy of this, you may have it.
Okay.
I've written some things, scribbled
That's
things
even better.
in the margins.
Yeah.
So, but you're welcome to have it.
Okay.
And if you can't read my scribbles, you know where to find me.
Okay.
finish the comment,
Yes.
because of the neighbors' complaints,
Oh,
those lights were changed out to proper lights,
great.
and we didn't have any more complaints.
And was it PG&E or?
The church did it.
Oh, the church, okay.
Our Baptist church changed their lights out when we complained. They're
Oh.
not perfect, but they're a lot better than they were.
Mhm.
So to say that does affect people that you don't realize.
Yeah.
And the people that's directed to usually just the one that's got the light in their eyes.
Yeah.
And so you don't see others that aren't complaining that say, gee, I wish I'd had this turned off like she's mentioning that
Yeah,
is not being aware of.
yeah,
So it is something that I think very highly that should be considered.
Yeah.
To do
Yeah.
and save money on the process.
oh, absolutely.
And one of the things that, I forgot his name, Al Altman or something like that. He's the one that runs the sewer plant. Is he gone now?
Oh, John Alton, yeah.
Altman, is he still there?
No.
Oh,
He's retired,
okay.
yeah.
I went to him one day, because I live on Park Hill, and I go by the sewer plant almost every day, but I went to him and I said, would it be possible if you could turn the lights off at night, because we don't really need them, and they were big floodlights, really they're out there. And he did, and he put up motion sensors.
Nice.
And I was so impressed with that. Sometimes all you have to do is ask, you know, and, you know, save the district. You know, the problem is that the district doesn't save money if he turns his lights off. So that is something that McElhaney is gonna have to wrestle with, PG&E. Because here we want to save, we should do it because we should do it, because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But saving energy doesn't lower our bill. And somebody said, who was it, you, Christine, said the bill's like $88,000 a
No,
month or
60,
something. Huh? 60, well, it's a lot of money,
It's a very lot of money.
So, I really highly recommend that you renegotiate those fees, because I mean, it's just wrong to not, be having incentive to use less energy.
Charge a flat fee.
Yeah,
No. No, they don't.
So if
No.
it's based on usage, then how come we don't save money when we use less?
We do.
I was told that it's a flat fee. Yeah. By, I don't know, somebody
Yeah.
a long time ago.
No.
So we use that much electricity, and that's pretty
Yes.
consistent.
Well, it's our pumps and it's the,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
No, I understand.
it's not, probably, what percent would you say is like?
Oh, the plant itself?
No, of all of the,
Bill?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody has any clue.
wouldn't that be nice?
They probably don't break that out like that, do they?
Yeah.
Just, yeah. But
Um,
so then if that's the case, that's great, because
Yeah.
if we use less lighting,
Yeah.
then it will save money.
Because it's not always 60,000 flat.
Oh, it's different everywhere.
It is, yeah.
Mm. But that's something, you know, saving that kind of
Oh,
money.
yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
would be great.
I put that in here.
Thanks, Dave.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody in, okay,
Brief comment,
yeah,
which is, I think this is really good.
oh, good.
It's general enough, it doesn't say exactly what to do, but it
Mhm.
provides the principles. And this is exactly the kind of thing that a policy should be.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah.
That was the goal. is to create
Yeah,
that.
no, I think it, like I say, I mean, you can compare it to that right there. And I think you're gonna see that you can probably cover a big basis.
Okay,
I guess is.
good. Any other committee members have any other comments?
I will look at this stuff closely.
Okay,
If I see anything that's. wrong.
without any public comment? We have public comment here? No. No? Anybody else? I know. Harry can't say anything. You have any public comment?
I don't know what you're,
Oh, we're talking
Oh.
lighting.
I don't know where you're at.
Lighting policy. yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
lighting. policy.
No,
My,
I'm all for it.
You're all for it, okay,
Question.
yes.
So Claudia is to send you Carlos's inventory, is that,
Oh, that's right. Let me make a note of
I just
that.
need to know because I would put that.
It's
in
not
the
Carlos's, it's from the county. He just got a copy of it from
Yeah.
them and sent it to me.
Well, I
If
was
you,
just for.
if you
can
call
send-
if you contact the county will send it to you.
Do you want it?
Sure.
Okay,
So
that'd be great.
Claudia is going to send it.
But you want me to send it
To Matt,
To Matt,
Oh, to
okay.
Matt.
Claudia
yeah,
will
'cause
send.
then I
the-
would just forward it.
What
And
about
that just call it
that
that
inventory spread,
something that-
inventory spreadsheet?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
that's just as a reminder, you know,
My
when it
suspicion
comes out
was
to
that we
the
already
minutes,
had
oh, I
it.
forgot to send it.
Yeah, actually, you wouldn't,
Okay, thank you.
since you have to service.
so any other, I know you just got this, but, any other edits that you would suggest? Like I said, I want to put, I'm gonna have to ask you to see this right here. I'll forward it to you, because I want to, okay, yeah.
Well, now it goes to the board for their.
You have to go to the board.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, can I see which one that is, by the way? Is that the one that just shows what, oh, it's a demonstration of, okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I
think
have
that would
another
be-
one that, I don't know if you want to put it in there or not, but there's another one that shows that if you put a light up higher on the wall, like you have some here, and you shine them down,
Yeah,
they actually have less glare, less light strike. That's just a little thing there. If you do that, then if you put them lower and shine them out that way.
Oh, of course.
So, and there's a diagram of that, and I think that's a good
Yeah.
one to put in there too.
yeah, go ahead
'cause-
and send it to me,
Okay,
and I'll send it, I'll forward it
okay.
to Haley, but she's much better at putting things.
And I have another one that has like good lights and bad lights, you know, lights that like wall packs shine straight out and wall pack. In fact, I sent you a picture of a wall pack that goes
Yeah.
down, and it's $103. It's like so reasonable, and
I think these two, just to describe what we're asking for would be, is fine.
No, they're just for you.
Oh, okay.
Just for you.
Yeah, great.
There's some other, images in that packet too, so just
Oh,
for
okay.
comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Strip that out if you want.
Okay, so how do you want, what do you want to do next? Do you want to, with those added diagrams, do you want to go ahead and forward it to the board?
I think so.
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's it. right?
Yeah.
Consensus.
Okay, so everybody's okay with that?
We could end on a good note.
Wouldn't it be great?
Okay, why
Consensus
not?
to forward the board with modifications as.
Yeah, I mean, the board is gonna decide, you know.
Yeah. Did I give
anything,
you
yeah.
one? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and here's this. Okay,
We can send her electronic. version of
Yeah.
this.
yeah, that'd be great. All right,
Okay, very good, that's done. Excellent.
okay, so
We
let's
don't have
go
to vote on
to,
that, we just.
no. it was
Well, I
by
think it was,
consensus.
yeah, let's consent, yeah.
Okay, the second regular business item is 4B. This is discussion of the Board of Directors' decision on November 21st, 2024. Agenda item, discussion and consideration of policy committee completion of purpose and direct staff and district council to prepare a draft of the new committee's purpose, responsibilities, and membership criteria, and update the standing committee bylaws. So as you saw, there was a link, and the link was to the whole board meeting, right? Because we couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so, so what Haley's done is she's got that link. And I just would like for you to listen to what the board said.
Fine.
That's it, okay?
Thank you.
All right, yeah. But of course, Christine's already heard it. And so has Gordon. Oh, and so has, let's see, Director Fowler. And if it gets too long and you want to stop it, let me know. It's like 20 minutes.
You know, another thing is that on Slow Span, they have,
Oh, yeah.
they post the videos with a
Oh.
timeline.
Oh,
So you could just click on that item
yeah,
and
is
it
that what
goes
you
right
did?
to it.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, right there.
There you go.
I like that.
This is good for people.
They do a great job.
Yes, they do.
Discussion consideration of policy committee completion or purpose, because there's, several people here in the call who, have to leave early, and with the board's indulgence,
Can you hear?
I'd like to move it up
No,
to now.
really.
And then we will continue after
So-
that with 7C, proceeding. And we may end up having to move the tweet up to 18.
There we go.
Here you are, your star.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Mhm.
It is painful to listen to yourself. I didn't cry. Okay. Huh. Yes. Yes, comments.
Well, I guess I don't understand this very well, but in looking at that, they have decided to dissolve the policy committee because we have completed our work. Close to whatever,
Yeah,
completed our work.
yeah.
But they have no idea what the new committee is going to do. So to me, it's kind of premature to dissolve one committee that is functioning and we just going to submit a new policy. And Gordon, who's been working on emergency preparedness for what, a year and a half or something, a long time.
About 5 years.
Oh, 5 years, I'm sorry. So I mean, to me, to take that away from him, is kind of rude, but, like you took lighting away from me because we have areas of expertise, but maybe Gordon's going to join the new committee, but nobody knows what the new committee is going to do.
Well,
The other thing, I haven't finished, the thing that struck me is that you're doing this because the fire chief asked you to do it. And what I see, I'm just a layperson and I'm just, okay, I don't know anything about this, like I'm learning about this today. But one, you're doing this because he asked you to do it. Two, you don't know what what the committee is going to do. And three, it just doesn't seem that it's been well thought out. If you don't know what the new committee is going to do, then you haven't really thought about what direction you're going to go and who's going to be on that committee. And then another thing is that,
Jim.
yeah. I don't know, not just, no, behind
She
you.
was pointing at
No,
you.
there, so,
Oh, David.
David, so thank you. So I did go to one of your meetings and there was a lot of people there and it is a public meeting. It's a public group. It's been around. It's like a kind of offshoot of the county group. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big, strong group and don't they talk about all these things? I mean, isn't that already, and you said that earlier, that we already have this committee, but this new committee is going to do something different. We don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something different. I'd like to hear what he has to say about this. I mean, is his committee going to go kaput because we got a new
No.
committee?
No, and let's wait and we'll have public comment
Oh.
because I'm really glad that David's here. But any thoughts about what Claudia's been saying?
This committee was not suggested
No.
because the chief wanted it.
I was gonna say that, but yeah,
This was a discussion with the board president,
Yeah.
along with vice president
yeah.
and the general manager, that if we were to reconstitute another committee, change its scope, what would be a good committee to talk about? And we thought fire protection would be one of them.
And then one other question, like a financial question, and that would be, is this expensive because you have to pay Haley to be here and they pay you to be here and,
We're on salary.
huh?
We're on salary.
Yeah,
Oh,
We're on here
okay,
in
so
office.
you have to use electricity to run this
Mhm.
equipment, so.
no,
is
it's not,
Dissolving the policy committee partially a financial thing because,
no,
you won't have to spend the money on whatever cost.
no,
to have
it's,
your
it's
committee.
about staff time. I
Staff
mean,
time.
Yeah,
And
staff
that's nothing
time.
too.
And so that, if you talk about finances, that would be, but they're here anyway, so. But the deal, number one, it wasn't requested by the department, but each of the committees, and you heard what Tom said, each of the committees have a part of what goes on with CCSD. There isn't anything for the fire department. And so the fire department can go to, like, for instance, David's fire safe focus group or that kind of thing, but there is no direct line back to CCSD. What advisory committees do, which is what we are, advisory committee, we actually make recommendations directly to the board. And the board can then act on them. The fire safe focus group does not have that direct line back to the board.
Oh.
So they can say, oh, let's do kind of this and let's do kind of that. But there is no direct line. I mean, we have actually made the board do things by an ethics policy.
Oh, many policies.
Many policies, but I mean, think about how hard it was to get an ethics policy started, passed. we did it. So it's, and part of it is that you have your chair who is going in. And if you've ever been, I think Christine knows this.
I know.
If you've ever been, what was the last policy committee or policy that we,
Climate.
climate?
adaptation.
And,
That was something, yeah.
oh, I mean, if you ever want to listen to how that was discussed, I mean, I literally at the end said, okay, what is it that we can all agree on? Because I'm there. And that's how you get things done. So, so that's the difference. No, his folks group is gonna be there and we're gonna have,
There'll be synergy between the two
Yeah.
groups.
I'm glad my policy created all that.
no, that was
all that-
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, so my 2 cents is.
Yeah.
Back when we started this committee, it became a committee that was set up to operate at the pleasure of the board. And the policy handbook was, well, quite frankly, in trouble.
a mess.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It hadn't been updated for a long time, and there were a lot of gaps and all kinds of issues that needed to be addressed. And over the past 5 years, we've addressed a good number of them. I, like Gordon, am concerned that if there are still gaps, that they are addressed in some way, shape, or form by perhaps ad hoc groups or something of that sort. And that seems to be what's being proposed here. And that's, I think, very important. I also totally agree with Gordon that this business of evacuation and all of that, that's just not gotten over the hurdle, is something that should be central to this committee. And I do hope that you would be willing to serve on that committee, Gordon, because I know you've done a lot of work on it. The policy committee operates at the pleasure of the board. It's as simple as that. And if the board feels as though we have reached a point where the board itself can maintain its policies, has caught up enough to make sure that the regular reviews of policies, which, you know, had just simply fallen by the wayside, can be done by the board. If that work can be done by the board feels that way, then the board has every right and purpose to sunset us for the moment. That doesn't mean that, you know, if things get out of control, that the board can't bring a policy committee back online. I do also think that it is true that to serve on this committee, you know, as I've done since the beginning, it requires dedication and to find people. And, you know, I mean, I get it. I mean, people are, you know, ready to sign off and, you know, do other things after a very long time. Replacing critical people on this committee could be a real daunting challenge because, you know, I mean, you just have to look at Cambria and really be honest.
Sure.
So, I'm okay with the decision that's been made. I really want to emphasize that it is important to not let things get so out of control ever again. That's really important. And to me, there were a number of standout policies. Certainly the climate policy for me was a big central issue. And the policy will point to the climate action plan, and it now demands it.
Yeah.
And that's what the policy committee should have done and did do.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be on the board, and it's gonna be on Mr. McElhaney and his staff. And I think there is actually much interest and excitement for that to happen. I don't think that's gonna be like pulling teeth in any way. I think there's an interest among the people who are working for you to really do that and get it done so that you're not behind the 8 ball when everybody wants your documents.
There's also a ad hoc already defined for that.
I've been working closely with,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
you know, Director Dean and soon to be Director Gray on that ad hoc committee, and we're looking at, you know, various different options.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. And I'm pleased that the climate policy moved that whole effort forward. And it's a personal, it's a personal sense of accomplishment. And I know that you're going to be very glad to have your lighting policy move
Absolutely.
forward. And you've been working on that for a long time. But I don't want to leave out the fact that, you've been talking about for a long time is really important. And, I'm certainly glad to see that nobody is interested in letting that fall by the wayside.
Right.
Because I'm certainly not. But I'm okay with the board's decision at this time, and, if there's ways that I can help out in the future, why, you know where to find me.
Yes.
So, I had a couple thoughts here. The first thing I would remind everybody is that I don't think there's a rule that when one committee sunsets or is abolished, that there's a requirement that it be replaced by another committee.
No.
I think in terms of the district's capacity to manage all the various issues the district has to deal with now, I would think that the fewer committees that staff and board members have to deal with, the better. I mean, I'm not collaborative by nature, so I'm not a big fan of committees anyway. So that would be the first thing. I think that the board should consider just letting this committee go by the wayside and saving, Matt and Haley and you a few hours a week where you could do productive stuff instead of hanging out with us in the afternoon. That'd be my first comment. The second comment would be that I think in many ways, establishing another standing committee to deal with fire issues would be redundant, given that the Fire Safe Focus Group has been working on that stuff for many, many, many years. I've attended as part of the search group a number of the open houses that they do here that are very well organized, very informative, very useful. I think they've got a lot of history and a lot of interested people and a fairly deep well of expertise. And if I was involved in that committee and I was told, oh, we're going to do a separate committee that's going to do sort of what you're doing, but different than what you're doing, and it's going to have a lot more authority to report to the board and stuff. I think it's not only redundant, but I think makes light of the work that the Fire Safe Focus Group has done over the years. And one more thought on that. I don't see from a practical standpoint any difference between a recommendation that the policy committee makes to the board, which is entirely 100% advisory in nature, from a recommendation that the Fire Safe Council would make to the board. I mean, we are basically private citizens. We're constituted as a standing committee, but we have no authority to do anything whatsoever. Which is the same as the Fire Safe Focus Committee. So I'm not sure that being a standing committee provides significantly more gravitas, that you might say, in talking to the board of directors than a long-established, experienced group of folks who've been doing this stuff for a long time, which the Fire Safe Focus Committee has done. There could be a board member appointed as a liaison. There could be more, interaction between that. So that's what I would think. I don't think you need another committee. I think people have got lots of stuff to do that, that would probably be better use of their time than this. I think we already have a group in town that is very active in dealing with fire issues. That's it. That's my comments. I mean, I'd point out, like, the CERT group, which I've been involved with for 10 years now. They've been trying to reconstitute that, and there was a whole new process where we all had to go, I don't know. Haley, do you know how many people went and got fingerprinted? You would know because you were writing the checks, right?
I was not writing the checks.
Somebody was writing the checks. I got a $35 check back from the district when I turned in my, which I mean, I paid the $35 to the sheriff's department to get fingerprinted. I'm just curious as to how many people actually,
I don't
went
have
and
a,
got that
I don't have
done,
a
okay?
number.
I mean, a dozen.
Yeah, not very much.
That was
last
it?
year.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. I was one of them. I went and did it. So I don't know what happened with that. The last fire chief sort of shut down CERT, and it's sort of been struggling to get back there. And I know the guy that was running it, Craig, has had some medical issues and he's been off. So I don't know what's happening with that, but that was something that the fire chief was very interested in. And again, I just don't know that people need more to do around here. I think people have plenty of stuff to do. And when you already have a group that's doing this stuff, I think we should let them do it.
Can I follow up?
Yeah, absolutely.
With all respect, I think the board, having a board member on these committees is what drives the board to institute change. So whether it always goes your way or not, we've seen that happen with pros, we've seen that happen with some of these policies,
Yeah.
right? You're not gonna get everything through, but there's something to be said to have a board member be a part of these discussions and then drive that change at the board level.
Because we do.
And
Yeah.
it's listened to, and the board listens to each
Yeah.
other, and they, you know, and I think these things happen. How would I put this? If you told me not to come to another committee meeting, would I be offended?
I wouldn't.
But if there was any committee meeting, any committee that we were gonna stand up where I thought like I would like to be a part of it, or definitely the fire chief, it would be the fire protection committee.
Right.
And I think it's something that's valuable to the community, and having a board member on that with, working with Fire Safe Focus. Because there's a lot of things that go into fire protection, like was said by the fire chief and myself at the meeting, is that it's not just wildland fire or home hardening or evacuation routes. There's a whole plethora of things that goes into public safety. And there's a lot of infrastructure needs that the fire department needs, and I think that's something that gives the fire department a platform and connection with the board of directors. You know, the chief doesn't connect with the board of directors all that much, other than to give his fire chief report.
Right.
Right.
So, we all would love more time, staff time away from committee meetings, because, you know, it takes a lot of staff time. Ask Jim how he feels about the staff time that they put into R&I. But with that said, Jim will be the first one to tell you, I get projects through the board with 5-0 votes because I bring it to R&I,
Right.
because it's well vetted. So every project and everything we bring through the board, I don't have to worry about a 3-2. Rarely, ever.
Right.
And I've been here almost 2 years. We don't have 3-2 votes. We bring 5-0s. And that's
We have
because
4 1s.
we're having a couple 4-1s. But even those are super rare,
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah.
So that's why I think these committees and having a board member is important, but I don't disagree, it's a lot of staff.
I have a question, this,
Or were you done?
Yeah, I want to give Dave,
Yeah.
because I haven't talked to Dave
yeah,
about this.
Debbie was telling me last night that we both went to, that she spends a lot of time, more time doing things up, you know, for the CCSD than she thought she was going to do when she first took on the job. And so I'm thinking that if you do, and you're not the president, well, you're the vice president,
Yeah.
but you're a member. But if you have a lot of things, and I know Harry has talked about all these extra committees and
Right.
whatever, meetings and things that they have to do. I'm thinking, who is gonna take on the 40 hours that I spent working on this lighting policy? And that's just for the one today. I mean, I've been working on stuff for years, so. Who's gonna do that? You know, it's nice for you to say that, oh, we'll just have an ad hoc committee, but you know, who's gonna do that? I guess we should have Tom and, well, you're here. You know, how many hours did you spend on doing that spreadsheet, you and Tom?
I honestly
Long
don't
time.
remember, a long time.
Yes.
You
but-
spent a lot of time on that.
Good
So,
detail. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing
Right.
document. But that,
Mhm.
not all your board members are gonna spend that kind of time on
No, it's
writing a policy or
well,
whatever,
it'll be an ad hoc committee. And,
But they're still
Isn't
board
it-
members, aren't they?
well, wait,
Oh,
so in January, Tom is gonna do a report on the ad hoc committees and the work that they have done. And I'll tell you what, those ad hoc committees, they meet with the general manager a lot. And so those committees do a lot of really, basic, work to do the research that needs to be done. So,
but by doing this, you're gonna give me more work to do, so.
well, but we're willing, we're willing.
Obviously, it was unanimous, so you
Yeah.
all know that you're gonna get all this extra work to do.
Well-
Maybe you don't think that you'll be doing too much policy, so then it won't get
Well,
bothered.
we've done a lot of work in policy. We've gotten it, to a point where there isn't any major thing that we have to do right now. And the fire preparedness, safety, whatever, advisory committee will actually be doing policy related to fire safety.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But the board does not want to collaborate with the fire safe focus group. They don't wanna,
no, that's not what was said at all.
no, I know, I'm just saying the board doesn't wanna do that, but you've already got a committee. And Mr. McElhaney just said that, all you have to do is put a board member on that committee and that committee would do.
No,
what
it's
you-
not that there's a board member on that committee. It's that you have a board member who is working diligently to inform the board members about the work that we're doing. I mean, if you ever want to go on and watch what we have to do to get a policy passed.
The fire chief goes to fire safe focus meetings.
Yeah.
Fire chief comes to fire committee, fire protection committee, to a board of director discussion
Yeah,
to the board.
and then they work together to get the board to pass whatever it is that they're advising.
So they're doing this already, but now you wanna have it.
No, they aren't doing it. No, they aren't doing it yet.
Proposal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the proposal.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So there is you have some idea what this new committee is going to
Oh,
do?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Didn't sound like they knew.
oh,
They said, well, wait till next month and we'll see what.
well, it has to be in the bylaws.
Yeah.
And.
I can tell them what they're gonna do, but it's not my decision.
Yeah,
It's the board of
it's the
directors, so
board's.
the board has to decide what they want the scope to be. We'll help as a part of that and bring forward what we would see would be a scope for the community,
Yeah.
but it's not my decision, it's the board.
Yeah.
So they have to decide, they have to have the discussion.
And we can say no.
But I guess my feeling is you should not dissolve one committee before you know what the other one's gonna be doing. If it's replacing one, but maybe it's not replacing. You're just dissolving one and you have a new committee and nothing, they're not related and, okay,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's sunset.
I won't be on that committee, so I will, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Probably taking all his notes.
Anybody else
so
have
different.
comments on the committee?
Oh, let's
Okay.
see.
Huh?
What I said was generally what we're suggesting
Yeah.
that we continued on, but that's been already decided that they were gonna do that, so it's gonna be an uphill battle. So it's what I said when the meeting that
Right.
was appropriate for opportunities still yet exists to do some more policies, like Claudia's indicating that there are, and Ted said there's some gaps, and we know there's gaps, and you went through all the details of how the ordinances and gaps, and it was very good to relate that, but we didn't cover all of them, let's put it that way, so. That's why I suggested an extension for a year, but it seems that we wanna, I would rather have my house under control about evacuation
Yeah,
than some other policy.
yeah.
Yes. And it does,
Move it along, if that was
those,
a choice.
those gaps fall into the purview of the board now.
Yeah. So,
I have one more question,
look, I think we have here another, and
Oh.
then you can have your turn.
I didn't see his hand was
Oh,
behind
I was
the
just
thing here.
Very silent.
This,
Well, you all kind of heard what I said to the board and so that's kind of my position, but I did want to respond to, Jim, I just love, I wish you would continue because you have a very unique point of view.
He really does.
And it's, It's often, I found sometimes when I go home and I think, oh, that's what he meant. You know, and it's really good. But what I wanted to say here, though, there is, I mean, what you say is true. In one sense, we all have our private lives and we're all busy. And why not just leave the running of the district to the people who run the district? Which is kind of what I'm summarizing what I think I understood you.
No, I said we already have a fire safe focus group. We already have a long-established community organization that deals with fire safety issues.
Right, but that's not what I'm addressing in
Right,
your
but
remarks.
that's what I said.
Yeah, no, I'm not contradicting that.
You might
That's a
not
different-
need to.
No, but what you also said was, or what I heard you say, let's put it, to be fair, what I heard you also say was that what I've often heard is why there's so many committees. There's so many committees, it's taking so much time. Now, no, not in your case, Jim, but in many cases, the people who are saying this are the very ones who said, we have no control over the board and we don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So as I think what Matt and what Deborah pointed out, which does suggest to me that this structure that the board has been doing now since, certainly since since Dave was president, there has not been, I do not remember a 3-2 vote. I don't think there was one. Certainly not in the last 8 years. So it is right. What happens as a board member to hear these projects and these ideas be vetted before it ever comes to the meeting is incredibly useful. And for me as board president, I made a point of listening to every single standing committee meeting so that I knew what was coming, what the views were, and I could organize my questions accordingly.
Yeah.
So it's an extremely useful tool for a board member to have this kind of citizen involvement, even though it may seem redundant. And that's, I guess, is what I was hearing from what you're saying, is there is an element of redundancy in it.
Yes.
But I personally feel that is extremely useful, because the one thing that has happened, and which many of us are still smarting about, is that where the board early on went, you know, before David, before me, the board kind of went rogue.
Yeah.
Because the public wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. The board was just out doing its thing. And then suddenly,
Yeah.
the thing kind of erupts. And remember the horrible meeting when the financing of the.
Yeah.
So, but that is that issue and that occasion is kind of what led to us now in this kind of a structure
Yeah.
where there's more communication. This kind of thing would not have happened with that board. This simply would not have happened.
No.
So for that reason, I think it isn't efficient. In fact, it's very inefficient, but it's also very useful. And that's why I was advising the board, please, you know, don't just, you know, provide more opportunity for people to, and the other thing though, and this has to do with the fire safe and the other thing, this committee is an advisory committee. What I'm hearing, in fact, is what they really want is something more like a working committee, similar to PROS. So PROS actually goes out and interviews people and you know, produces programs. And I think that I may be putting words in people's mouths.
Well, it'll depend on who the chair is.
Yes, but that I think the board may be looking for something where people can actually get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted to say. I think all of you, I've always enjoyed working with all of you, and it's been, again, sometimes it takes me, I have to actually, when I do the minutes, when I say, oh, that's what Gordon meant. And oftentimes I find that I agree with you, whereas we might have started at loggerheads. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Oh, I just have a quick question about the lighting policy, since it's kind of in limbo. What will be the procedure? Should I be going to, or should we all be going to the CSD meeting when you discuss this?
I
or-
think you all should always. come
Well,
to
yeah,
all.
right. I knew you'd say that.
No, it's gonna be, when it's on the agenda, I will let you know.
Okay, Okay.
So that I would love to have you there.
yeah, and aren't your meetings on Thursdays?
Yeah.
Those are the days I.
Well, they're gonna start being one time a month from 10 in the morning until for 6 hours.
For 6 hours. Well, put it at the end of the agenda, I can be back in time, but I'm always in San Luis.
We
on
can
Thursdays.
figure out,
If that'd be
Yeah,
possible.
that'd be
To
great.
work out.
Okay, so the
And my-
committee
my-
members,
Hurting, so.
the committee members have said their piece.
Now we need to.
Now we need to have public comment. Sir, public comment, sir.
I was so tired about 6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
No bathroom breaks. Get through that agenda.
Everybody's gonna have a catheter, right?
That's right.
And a pillow.
I wrote some notes, so I would, yeah, and then I can add a little bit more. Generally, I agree with the concept of the fire protection focus committee. The Fire Safety Focus Group is a parent organization, the Fire Safety Council has done considerable work in Cambria to forward the fire protection of our community and will continue to do so.
Yes.
Recent grants to the Fire Safe Council will do more work, and a fundraising event sponsored by the Fire Safe Focus Group, if you're not aware of that, we're having a little soiree to raise money for the fire department.
I'm coming.
Will enable some of the work to get done for the fire department that they're unable to fund. However, there are areas that the Fire Safe Focus Group does not work on that could use the focus of the standing committee. Examples are budget funding and recruitment issues. I think it is critical that the Fire Safe Focus Group and the standing committee work in concert. And so with the urging of the fire chief, I will apply to be a member of the committee if it is.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Initially, when I thought about fire, when I listened to the excerpt a couple of weeks ago of the
Board meeting.
I said, okay, fire protection is certainly within the purview of the CTSD. Disaster planning is not, okay? So my initial thing was, you would be wrong with disaster planning. But maybe not. Maybe it needs to be discussed at a community level. Yes, it's not in the purview of, it as an unincorporated part of the county.
Right.
You know, the fire department has its scope of work, but actual disaster planning is county OES. Okay?
Just what now? Continue.
County Office of Emergency Services, okay? And so, but the discussion and then the ability to talk about disaster planning at the board level and get some action taken back to the county.
Yeah.
That says we need your help
Yeah.
or we need whatever, is probably a good idea. It would also help that through the Fire Safe Council, of which I'm vice president, we have those people in our council and in our executive group. And Scotty Jalbert, former chief, now head of county OES, regularly attends our meetings and we have a conduit to him. That would probably, once again, help with getting some stuff done, maybe that it's not getting done.
Yeah.
So, those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
Cool.
And yes, Claudia, you should go to that meeting because you're the expert on that stuff.
Yeah.
The board needs your input.
Yeah,
Yes.
they do.
Yes.
We do.
Thank you. Well, I just didn't know if it wasn't, I guess it just as a citizen, I guess, interested citizen.
No, you need to go make public
Yeah.
comment.
What I know, but I would be an interested citizen, not a representative from the policy committee.
Well, you can say that too, because, I mean, did you hear how much they listened to these two guys from the policy committee?
Yeah,
Yeah, the board will listen.
they will,
really
well, that's
do.
good.
This board is really good.
I hope they would want some
They will listen
expert
to you.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
So,
any other public comment?
So we lost them up there.
Anybody on Zoom?
Yeah, I was here to support what Jim had to say, that was basically the idea I came up with, is that we already have a lot of committees.
Yeah.
That we don't need another one but I am persuaded by your argument of a direct advocate on the board and by Dave's,
Yeah,
consideration
I
of things
agree.
that are not.
Yeah.
being
Having
done.
that board chairman of the committee
Yeah.
go back to the board.
Yeah.
Will help the chief a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
And this is not a hill that I was intending to die on or
I didn't
anything.
think
It
so.
just seems like everybody's got more on their plate than they can handle now.
We have a lot.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
That addition by
These two have a whole lot
subtraction.
more than I
Yeah,
do.
well,
I
Addition
told them
by
they don't pay me
subtraction
now.
would be helpful,
Well, and it's one more committee to keep track of,
right?
one more meeting to go to.
Well, that's why policy is gonna be sunsetted, so, or has been. Today is our last meeting.
Sensitive.
We certainly haven't seen much in the way of public involvement.
No.
In our work on this committee, maybe other committees, dozens of people of the public
Well,
show.
there
Right,
are,
right,
they're
yeah.
more, well, not that we don't do work here, but the other committees are more about bringing people in to give information and opinions
On
And-
specific.
on specific
Subject
things.
matter experts,
Yeah,
right, sure.
yeah.
Mm. We actually talk to a lot, I do, I
Of
talk
course
to
you
a
do.
lot of people, I know people like in the lighting
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I mean, we do work, but it's different than the other committees.
Yeah. Well, I'm sad to see it go, although I wasn't gonna be coming back next year. I just have way too much stuff to do, but, I think that, to tell you the truth, those things that are left on our plate are not gonna get done. You know, they just won't. You guys are way too busy. Nobody's gonna take them on. They take up too much time.
No, see, now she's daring me.
And that
And you know
that
better
bothers
than
me more
that.
than
You
anything.
never dare me, right?
But, you know, it's, you know, we've worked on these things, and many of them for years, and they kind of keep coming up. We just haven't gotten them resolved and gotten them approved, but I think it's almost like an insult to us to say, well, you know, the work you did, we're just gonna chuck it out, you know?
That's inaccurate, that's inaccurate.
For those issues that you feel strong about, make a list and we'll keep track of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
You know,
and see
I
what,
mean,
see what
they-
happens.
Yeah,
Right.
don't let them disappear.
Okay,
It's.
well, that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to say, that is what public comment,
right.
every meeting, I see, it's
Right.
maybe Christine and me and
Yeah.
Gordon.
Right, right.
Where are the rest of it? Where's the rest? So.
Yeah.
I'm in
if
St.
I'm
Louis
concerned,
Obispo,
you need to come and.
Well,
and you
now
just
we
keep coming
changed-
back.
Chase 60 lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll make it easier for me and with a new president, I know I'm gonna want to go. I'm buttering her up.
Yes, she's. Okay,
See, those
so,
are all- And those issues may come up through other committees.
Oh,
yeah, oh, it
You know,
will.
I mean,
Yeah.
they absolutely have other implications, particularly climate action.
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot, so
Yeah, because there's a financial.
don't lose
aspect
track of them.
No.
They're still important.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got some issues that are on my plate big time right now. This floating offshore thing has got
Yeah.
to be stopped.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we don't have to do a vote on agenda item 4B. And 4C is what we've just been doing. So, I don't think we need
Transition,
to
yeah.
talk about that
I
at
think he's going to.
Future agenda items, I like that.
yes, I almost had you take off. the agenda. Yeah,
Well,
Where's the party going?
Where's that? My house. Anybody want to come to my house? I got wine, beer and, yeah.
we have a party, farewell party.
Are we, so anyway,
I moved to adjourn the
adjourn.
meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.